All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Monday morning live ILCA Inner Circle Crypto Talk. This is Brandon Ivey from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type your name in the chat box where you're listening in from. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I share information for educational, training, and entertainment purposes only, and it is up to you to make your own informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. All right, we have Miss Amy Hazel on the line and Angela Ingram, Clairvaux Albert, Carla Arico, CJ Jackson, Dorothy Mays, Elijah Morgan, Eric W., Jacqueline Jamal from Pasadena, Judy from Toronto, Keith Lakeman, Leonard Long, Maggie from Canada, Melanie Davis from Chicago, Patty Guy, San Diego, Rita B, San Diego, Sandy Lynn, and Wild Bill. Good morning, everybody. You'd always know how it is on a Monday morning is when we have the most exciting information and news to share, especially today. We have a lot. I need to come up with a new strategy when it comes to trading. I got to call it the Trump effect. Because no amount of reading the charts is going to prepare you for what could happen at any given time. And this weekend, we had crypto talk on Saturday, and someone asked a question after Donald Trump said he will make his decision in 2 weeks. Well, do I believe that he will attack? And I said, I don't know. Sooner rather than later, he attacked, and the markets were going to go haywire. So that was expected, and we're going to take a look at what the markets are this morning. But I made a decision last week that I'm going to reverse that. I was going to sit on my trades that I've been sitting on for a week prior to that. When Israel attacked Iran, that messed up the markets. So I was just going to sit, wait it out. But now that it had dropped below 100,000, I'm going to re-enter it. I'm going to sell for a loss and then make it up into a day or two, just day trading. So there's a lot of money you can make on that sideways trading. So I'll make more money doing that than waiting for it to come back up just so I can get that 1%. So that's what I'm going to actually do. But we don't have Diamond Class again until next week. So just letting you guys know, I will be actively trading all this week. Why? Because this is 5-day challenge week at the same time. So this is the best time. If you have anybody new that wants to learn about Bitcoin and crypto and they're scared about what's going on in the world and people talking about World War III, how is Iran going to retaliate? What are the markets going to do? What are my options? You want to tell them to hop on the 5-day challenge to hear about financially what they can do to prepare themselves. So I'm looking forward to this entire week and starting tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So let's go ahead and jump on in because I do have the MoveQuest presentation at the top of the hour. So share screen. All right, so what's the traditional markets doing? So this morning, let me refresh. So the attack happened on Saturday. The Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq are up 100 points, 28 on S&P 500, Nasdaq 105. The Europe is down. Asia down a little bit, but the Hang Seng is up. Crypto market. So crypto market is down 0.4% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance has risen even more. On Saturday, it was at right at 62% or 61.8. This morning is 62.5. So that means the altcoins took a big hit. Ethereum dropped, now down to 8.5. Just last week, it had just touched over 9% of market cap. So Ethereum took a hit. Let's see. What? Again, this does not match up. Let me refresh again. Bitcoin is up 2.2%, 24 hours. Ethereum 3.5. Ripple 3.6. Solana 3.9. BNB 1.4. How was this down 0.4%? You know what that means. I need to double check these numbers to coin market cap and see if they have something similar or different. And yeah, literally, I saw that. Catherine had posted that someone bought 8 Vanguards and got scammed out of their MQT and Vanguards before they even had a chance to mine. Where's Bullish Moon at? I'm just saying. Coin market cap. Let's see. All right, coin market cap has it up 2.17%, 3.12 trillion. CoinGecko 3.24 trillion, down, but they are looking at different set of tokens. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But coin market cap, these numbers look more accurate. Yeah, this is the same as CoinGecko's. Okay. So I'll go with these numbers here. So the market rebounded this morning, and crypto market always rebounds faster than the others. Let's see here. Someone asked me the other day how I feel about what's happening with MoveQuest. And you guys are my inner circle, and I am transparent, and I'll say this. The project itself is genius. Bad management. Project's genius. Bad management. You guys understand, figure out what I'm saying. Bitcoin. Any other outliers here? Dogecoin up 3.9. Cardano 3.5. Hype 5.6. Sui 3.4. Chainlink 2.6. Stellar 2.7. Avalanche 4.3. I'll say this with extreme confidence. Had they made a deal with me last year, there would be 100,000 people in MoveQuest right now. And I say that with confidence. I'm an 8-figure earner. I know what the F I'm talking about. Toncoin is up 3.5%. Shiba Inu is up 4.7%. Litecoin is up 3.9%. Look at this. So on news of the bombing of Iran, the crypto market exploded. So I'm gonna briefly let me take a look at my positions here. So I missed out. I should have done this yesterday. Let me sign on in. Oh yeah, I forgot I added my 2FA. I added my 2FA because there was a major data breach of passwords. Kenny posted an article about that. And so I went in and I made sure I changed all my passwords and make sure my 2FAs are on everything. So make sure you guys do that. There was a major data breach. Okay, let's see. What are we looking at here? I've still got 4 open trades. Current price, so XPX, man, that's down 40 cents. Ethereum, 22, it's down 600. Tau, down set. So yeah, I'm gonna cancel these and I'm gonna re-enter. Well, when I mean re-enter, I'm gonna be selling them at a lower number and get back in the game. Cancel all those. So when I do sell, and if I look at, that's not, we were looking at Fartcoin, right? Let me pull up first Tau. So Tau, I am going to buy at market price right now. I need to get back in. I'm sorry, sell. Sell at market price. 100%. I'm going to reset this and do it all over again. Sell my Tau. Other was SPX. Sell at market 100%. So I'm going to do a reset this week. I'll make it back a few days. And the other, I should only have Ethereum left. Yeah. ETH. Ethereum, 100%. So now I got all cash. Confirm. So now I got all cash. So I am actually down. Well, I don't know how much I had to have a little more than $300. So now it's at 290. So I'm gonna make that back. So later on today, I don't have time to do it right now, but I'm gonna take buy positions on some tokens, and I'm gonna whether I use the same ones, Ethereum, I don't know yet, but I'm gonna get back in the game, and I'm going to make that back. And I'm also going to add, this is still buying opportunity, probably another $200 or $300 into this and go back at it. All right. Best performers over the last 24 hours. Story. Kaya. Man, I should have did this last night. I was not. Sonic. Caspa. SPX. So had I sold last night what I just did right now and then buy back in, I would be up 7%. H bar, Sky, Hype, Cosmos Hub, but it's okay. I sold now. That's all right. All good. Okay. Looks like all the coins. Who had the worst performers? Uniswap down 1.5%. Pax Gold, Bitcoin Cash, Whitebit, Fast Token, and then that's it. Then you just got the stable coins. That's it. MQT, what is that looking like? MQT is sitting at $7.24. So I am patiently waiting to see where the bullish moon people are at. That's supposed to jump this up. So I'll be waiting for that. I don't have any other thing to say about this at this price. I am not selling anything. This is a good buying price. The smart contract tried to kick in a little bit right there. Marnita, take a look at the other project. We haven't made that announcement yet, but you guys will hear about it soon. Take a look at that, Marnita. You'll see that token went up big time. All right. Next is, well, we'll take a look at the scammer accounts. Have I heard of this company? NASDAQ listed Fiserv. No, I have not. To launch a USD pegged stablecoin on Solana. Hey, everybody's trying to get their stablecoins out. What about XRB listing on Binance? Orbit? XRB. All right. This wallet is still sitting on 24.79 million. What about the other one? These are hacker wallets, 11.29 million. Okay. Hey, Catherine, if you could find out the wallet address that the person that got hacked, those tokens went to, what wallet address it is. If you could find that out, please let me know. Wait a minute, I'm speaking. Is Catherine here? Yeah, she is. All right. And then we could take a look at that. Hersoff. Oh, Rob Hersoff. Oh, the new company. I am definitely out of the loop of that one. And I did not. I apologize. I was supposed to jump all on JPMD. But this weekend we had orientation for my son, a family or a close family friend, blue line, blue coated in the hospital this weekend, and I was not in front of my computer to do anything. So this week I got to catch up. So JPMD. Remember, we want to be some of the first to get our hands on that. That's that Coinbase or only getting on base. Binance Square, the insight. The Orabit XRB coin is tied to Bitcoin, and it symbolically stands for Bitcoin and pure gold, hinting at its focus on tokenized assets like gold. I have not logged into Orobit in a long time to see any updates. What's going on here? Exclusive pre-sale available. The first phase of the exclusive pre-sale round is open by Orobit. I've what 720,000 VRX. That's what I have. So can I swap that into XRB? Inventory. Lock VRX. Buy Orobit. I need to get familiar with this rewards program. What about payouts? So yeah, they still owe me like 10K. And that ain't right. Gonna be a whole lot more than that. Inventory, sales, team, hub. So everything from the Vara side is still here. Yield hub. We weren't ever able to get on that. Okay. I gotta pay attention to this. Validation terminal. Hey Leonard, did you know if we can swap our VRX into Orobit, the XRB, or do we gotta buy that separately? Okay, gotta get it separately. Orobit wallet. Create a new wallet, import or recover your wallet. I don't have an Orbit wallet. Claim, sell, claim. Okay, I'd have to create a wallet first. All right. Anyways, it's Orbit side. Let's jump into some of the news because this is a big news day. Bitcoin dips below $100,000 as Iran moves to shut the Strait of Hormuz. I remember I had a DFG wallet. I got to go back in my notes to see if I find those and the seed phrase. Now, this is a big deal. Iran has the capability of shutting it down. They don't have the capability of keeping it shut. But how long it would take to open it up, that's a problem. And how would they shut it down, you may ask, is well, they've had this plan for the last 40 years. This is such a small strip here. And one of the things that they would do is set up not just a naval blockade, but we can blow those blockades up, but sink several tankers in a way that is impassable. And so then you have to take the time to be able to remove those sunk tankers. I mean, the water, the depth is not as deep as you may think. So they have the potential to do that, and oil will spike up temporarily. I think the last assessments, maybe 6 months. It would take 6 months for all that, and depending on how long the conflict would keep going back and forth. And what they would also do is send they've got these little speed boats, but they call it something a different name, that they would just dive bomb tankers, target tankers. So the companies would say we can't afford to lose or have damaged ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, and they'll stop. So they can effectively do that, and they can also use drones to attack any ships coming in this area. So that you're gonna have to contend with. Now, didn't I say last week or the last couple of months? I said this is gonna be a hot summer, and for whatever reason, August scares me. Well, here we are. We're watching this play out. So while Bitcoin has dropped more than 3% over the past 24 hours, Sunday's deeper bruising came from the altcoin market, which dragged the broader crypto economy down by $90 billion to $3.07 trillion. Weekend wipeout. Altcoins lead market rout. The entire crypto market bled more than 4%. And although Bitcoin played its part, tokens like Ethereum, Ripple, and Solana absorbed even heavier losses. Now, since I made that move and I sold my position, so now I'm sitting back on cash again, the next thing we want to do is figure out what token do I want to buy back into, because we want to buy the dip. Now, the last 24 hours, the only token in the red is Uniswap. So then if we go back to Kraken, who was it that found that? Was that Amy? Amy Hazel that found this out on here? And you guys remind me, where did I go again to find the work, the tokens? Was it analytics? That showed the volume, and I forgot. You guys remind me, where on Kraken did I go to be able to see the 24-hour volume of the top tokens, positive and negative? It was in the home. Oh, yeah, that's recent activity. Home, then choose gainers. Oh, dang. There you go. So these are the top tokens on Kraken. Thank you, Amy, for that. Over the last 24 hours. What I'm looking at is the losers that I can buy into. So CQT is a candidate. I don't know how much volume. Well, yeah, this is good volume. Corn. I could flip a quick buck on. Bond. So this is what I'm going to look at later. And I might jump a few of these positions to make a quick buck. You don't want to buy something that's already jumping up high right now. But I missed my mark. I should have done this last night. So look at this. I'm down $8. So this is the losses I took. Down $8. All right. And Marnita, you were asking about that too. Anything you see, remember the P&L, profit and loss. So as this isn't giving you the percentage, this is giving you dollars. Let me go back to the trade screen. If I click on my closed orders, here I thought this showed profit loss also. It does not. My trade sell price, that does not. I just got to do it by what I bought it in at and where I sold it at. So where you go, Marnita, home, and you're able to see right here on the spot. All right. So back to Iran. The entire crypto market bled more than 4%. Out of the top 10, Ethereum plunged roughly 9% against the dollar, landing near 2205. Ripple slid 7.2%, falling beneath the $2 threshold to $1.96. Solana wasn't spared either, trading at $128 after slipping 8.5%. Now, I don't want to create a free account. I'm not doing all that. All right, markets. Markets enter uncharted chaos as Iran forces brutal portfolio resets. And that's what I just did. I just did a reset. Intensifying Middle East conflict and surging geopolitical risk are igniting a dramatic market realignment, driving investors into energy, defense, commodities, and inflation-protected assets as volatility erupts. Market outlook darkens with soaring oil and heightened Middle East tensions. A destabilizing jolt has shaken global markets, fueling inflation fears and sector turmoil as military escalation intensifies in the Middle East. Financial advisory firm DeVere Group CEO Nigel Green stated on June 22nd that President Donald Trump's strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities are dramatically resetting investor expectations. The U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear sites is a market-defining moment. A market-defining moment, he emphasized it's a direct hit to the assumptions that have been driving investor positioning: lower inflation, falling rates, and stable energy prices. This framework has just been broken. As markets reopen, investors brace for extreme volatility, with surging oil prices drawing fresh scrutiny on inflation forecasts. This is all good for crypto, as we see. Yeah, I got to watch this too within the last hour as we're talking how the market. So the last 24 hours we saw a bump up, but the last hour we've seen it kind of slow down a bit. So this would be a good time to buy in if we're going to see if this can go up a little bit more. Let's see here. Okay. $130 per oil. Iran is looking into disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. Crude oil has spiked to $130 per barrel. Such a price shock would filter, what was it last week, like 60 something dollars a barrel? Such a price shock would filter through to global inflation, which remains elevated and or sticky in many regions. He added that anticipated rate cuts by central banks like the Federal Reserve may no longer be feasible. Now, that's the funny thing. Trump was forcing, he was like, I'm going to fire Jerome Powell if he doesn't cut the interest rates. Well, now, off the move he made, it's impossible to cut the rate. So I'm curious on what he's gonna say about that this week. A sustained surge in oil makes rate cuts very difficult to justify. If inflation spikes back up, and it will, monetary policymakers will be forced to hold and possibly even reconsider the easing cycle altogether. The unfolding crisis may shift capital away from rate-sensitive sectors into energy, commodities, defense, and national security-linked firms. Let me ask you guys this question. What do you think? Donald Trump said to Iran that, hey, look, we're not trying to do regime change. We just, blew up your nuclear facilities. So don't even think about retaliating against us because we're going to bring pain on you if you do. What do you think? Is Iran going to just absorb this and just lob missiles at Israel and keep it moving? Or do you think Iran is going to retaliate against the United States? Uh, yes for retaliation or no for retaliation? What do you think Iran is going to do? Strike back and retaliate? So what we have to predict, if they're going to strike back and retaliate, how? And when they do, how much of an impact will it have? And will the US absorb it or hit back? That depends on how the retaliation happens. If here's the worst mistake, if I was thinking on Iran's side, the worst mistake for them to do would be to activate cells inside the US and target US facilities inside United States. That will be the worst because the result of that happening is, while you'll have the left that will blame Donald Trump, if any Americans are killed, doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, America always rallies together against a foreign foe. And now, instead of having a split America, you will have a united America to want to attack Iran back and hit them hard. If Iran just messes with the Strait of Hormuz, lobs missiles at U.S. bases in the Middle East, attacks Israel, the American main populace isn't really going to bat an eye too much. So that's in my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right, okay? Based on history, and I'm a student of it. That's my opinion on what will follow. But I don't know. The unknown is this: North Korea, China, Pakistan, or Russia that brings aid to Iran. and helps them in any form. That is the unknown. So we have to act as if, I always act as if, prepare for the worst case scenario. So now would be the time to take strong crypto positions. Investors can't afford to wait and see. They need to respond now, reposition portfolios, and focus on sectors and strategies that can withstand prolonged uncertainty. The time for passive optimism is over. This strike marks a turning point. The smart investors are already repositioning. Those who hesitate risk being left exposed. Okay. If I was Iran, I'd be calling on my partners. I'm like, all right, this is why we made our treaties. It's time to step up. Russia, where you at? China, where you at? They just bombed us. What you gonna do about it? Grant Cardone. How many of you guys out there love or like Grant Cardone? Or follow him? You know, Grant Cardone, very successful at what he does. I am not a fan of Grant Cardone. I respect what he's accomplished, but I will never follow anything that he's doing. I just don't like the way he moves. But Grant Cardone wants to be the next Michael Saylor. He's positioning himself for that. So Grant Cardone calls Bitcoin treasury companies the new gold rush. Now, Marnita had posted another article that I didn't pull up because I don't have enough time, that he is buying up, his company is buying up as much Bitcoin as they can. They just bought another 1,000 Bitcoin. Grant Cardone's wealth is probably a little north of $3 billion in assets that he controls. So he's getting up there, and he sees that this is the next way to get him into the big picture with the big boys. Most of his money he's got is in real estate, but he's also looking at real world assets, digitized real estate tokenization. So the real estate mogul is on track to raise more than $1.2 billion in a series of funds that invest in both Bitcoin and commercial real estate. He's doing the right thing. No matter what I think of him, he's doing the right thing here. The new gold rush, there shouldn't be a question mark on here. I said this 8 years ago. Grant Cardone bets on Bitcoin treasury companies, but cautiously. We might be missing the boarding of the boats. Boarding of the boats? What is that? Hey, literally, you just got me shiny ball syndrome here. Hold on.
While retail investors are chasing meme coins, institutional money has quietly exited crypto entirely. What they're buying instead is delivering way bigger returns. Institutions have poured over 85 real revenues that are outperforming Bitcoin by BlackRock alone moved $4 billion into Ethereum. It wasn't Solana or XRP or any altcoin that you've ever heard of. They're buying something completely different.
What?
We're talking about real companies with real revenues that are outperforming Bitcoin by 300, 500, and even 1,000%.
All right, what are they buying?
And most retail investors don't even know this asset class exists. I'm Mark Moss. I've been building and selling tech-based companies. All
right, Leonard, I don't have time to watch all this morning, but if you know, what is it he's buying? Institutional monies, crypto exit, returns instead. Yeah, go ahead, tell me. What is he buying? What's he talking about?
What they're buying is buying into companies like Strategy. So Strategy's buying all this Bitcoin. And the only way the companies survive is they have to have more money coming in all the time, right? Like Apple, every year, the revenue. Well, now there's people investing in the institutional company because the institutional company is buying Bitcoin. This exact same article, I think Cardone saw what Mark was talking about.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's the deal. Investing in companies that is investing in crypto. That is wise. That is very smart. So Grant Cardone.
Watch that video though. It's not very long, but everyone should watch it because it's really interesting.
All right, thank you for sharing. So CEO of property investment firm Cardone Capital was eager to present his plan to Michael Saylor, chairman of Bitcoin Treasury Company Strategy. Cardone knew that firms were stampeding to raise capital for Bitcoin. That is true. I knew the same thing too. He just has vastly more resources than I do. In a scenario he described as a 21st century gold rush. So it is, let me post this link. Leonard posted the video up above. Here's this link. So his plan was, let's see, in a scenario he describes as 21st century gold rush. His plan was ambitious, but also carefully hedged with real estate, Cardone's area of expertise. It's just like the gold rush right now. Anytime I feel all this rush moving in, the hair on the back of my neck goes up. Gary Cardone, Grant's identical twin. What? I didn't. Grant Cardone has a twin? I did not know that. Or did I? Huh. Known as, still he wants to be like the Winklevoss twins here. And a known Bitcoin advocate had arranged the initial meeting with Saylor in January 2025. Afterwards, the Cardones wasted no time and hashed out a plan to immediately jump onto the Bitcoin Treasury bandwagon. I did not know he had a twin brother. But Grant didn't want to throw all caution to the wind. I'm a very conservative investor. Indeed, the plan Cardone presented to Saylor and their follow-up discussion reflected Cardone's risk aversion. A series of funds that would invest in both real estate and Bitcoin. That is smart. Saylor was curious about the ratio of property to Bitcoin in Cardone's funds. I said it's 85% real estate, 15% Bitcoin. By year 4, though, Mike, I'm at 70-30. Okay. Cardone went on to describe how he would end up with an asset mix of 50% real estate and 50% Bitcoin around the 5th year of his strategy, which would likely include going public. Yeah, you might want to buy in on this company. But Saylor scoffed at him for being too cautious. You have a pussyfoot, Saylor told Cardone. You should start at 80% Bitcoin and 20% real estate. I agree. Cardone mulled over Saylor's comments, but decided to stick to his own conservative approach. Mike, I'm a real estate guy, Cardone explained. If I go 80% Bitcoin and 20% real estate, I'm no longer a real estate guy. Cardone says he went on to launch 4 Bitcoin real estate funds after his conversations with Saylor. 4 Bitcoin real estate funds. The most recent one being the 10X Miami River Bitcoin Fund, a reference to Cardone's best-selling book, The 10X Rule. He plans on launching a total of 12 funds this year. His general investment strategy involves purchasing cash flow positive properties at a discount. The difference between the market value and purchase price is used to buy Bitcoin. The cash flow price discount and tax deductions from depreciation all create a flywheel effect that allows Cardone to increase his firm's Bitcoin holdings with each subsequent fund launch. There's $4 trillion in America invested in real estate investment funds, Cardone said. We're going to crush those because they can do maybe 12% a year. When we add Bitcoin to it, we'll go to 30 to 40% returns on a real estate portfolio. That is true, and he's smart, but Saylor's right. Saylor's like, yeah, I'm going to crush those returns. Because what is Bitcoin doing percentage every single year by itself? But that's a smart move Grant Cardone is doing. And again, the river of money. There was a time Grant Cardone was shitting all over Bitcoin. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah, his brother might have been positive on it, but Grant wasn't. And he's that billionaire in the ocean or in the middle of the river with his yacht. And now he sees the river is changing directions. And what is he doing? Pulling up anchor and flowing in the new direction where money's going. There's a perfect example. Somebody remind me of this. You know, when we're in Chicago, I'll bring up Grant Cardone again of what he's doing. Okay. Over $1 billion in leveraged crypto positions wiped out after Bitcoin drops under key threshold. But this is already coming back, so I don't want to read this in too much. More than $1 billion in crypto positions were wiped out over the past 24 hours as Bitcoin dropped below the $99,000 mark for the first time in over 6 weeks. But right now we are sitting at 101,000, so it's already popped back 2.4%. So yeah, I don't need to read no more than that. Your Cointelegraph website compromised. Beware of fraudulent pop-ups. I don't click anything on pop-ups, period, anyway. Cointelegraph has alerted its users to a fraudulent pop-up appearing on its website, falsely claiming to offer Cointelegraph ICO airdrops and CTG. My arm is killing me. I was at the gym this morning, 4:30. The malicious pop-up, which emerged on June 23rd, encourages users to connect their cryptocurrency wallets and enter personal information in exchange for nearly $5,500 worth of non-existent tokens. Cointelegraph has advised users against interacting with these pop-ups, emphasizing that they should not click on them, connect their wallets, or provide any personal details. The company is currently working to resolve the issue following a front-end exploit that has also affected other crypto platforms recently, such as CoinMarketCap. Yeah, Captain, that would be wise. It would be wise for the entire MoveQuest community to be on the 5-day challenge this week to get crypto educated and not have to pay anything. Like I said, bad management. You would think from the top they would be screaming that to the wind because it doesn't cost them anything. All right. Calls for European nations to repatriate gold from the U.S. amid geopolitical concerns. This is a big news too. See, right after World War I, what countries did with America, if you don't know this, they had stockpiles of gold, but they didn't have cash. So what they would do was gave the gold to America, like on a loan. And America used its cash, its dollar, to help rebuild those nations. But America still sat on the gold. Now, 80 years later, repatriate the gold from the U.S. But does the U.S. have the gold? When was the last time there was an audit? Is it in Fort Knox? Germany and Italy are facing increasing pressure to relocate their gold reserves from the New York Federal Reserve due to rising geopolitical tensions and concerns over U.S. monetary policy under President Donald Trump. She says she is unable to access her wallet at all to even give me her. Huh? Was it a MetaMask wallet? All she has to do is open it up and copy the wallet address. Yeah, she can open up her MetaMask and copy the wallet address. Or she doesn't know that she's brand new. She doesn't understand. With Germany and Italy holding the second and third largest national gold reserves globally, valued at over $245 billion combined, former politicians and advocacy groups are urging a reassessment of their reliance on U.S. custodianship. Fabio De Masi, but if they changed her password, she still has the seed phrase. She can still, that's not going to give her the wallet address, though. If she's not going to be able to see that transaction. Yeah. Fabio De Masi, a former MEP, emphasized to the Financial Times the need for European nations to consider relocating their gold in turbulent times. That's a first. There was no safer place to have your gold than America. That's why they were doing that. Put it in New York. The debate has gained traction across the political spectrum in Germany with calls for the Bundesbank to ensure the security of its gold reserves. But that's going to put pressure on America to actually open up our reserves and say, is it there? But this gold is not held at Fort Knox. It's in New York. So I think that is audited. While the Bundesbank maintains that the New York Fed is a reliable partner, the discussion reflects broader concerns about the stability of international financial relationships and the importance of physical control over national assets. Oh, you guys know about this. Custodial versus non-custodial. If New York has the gold, that's Germany and Italy's, who actually owns the gold? Is it Germany and Italy? Or is it whoever has possession of the gold? That's how it is at the end of the day. So they're saying, yeah, we need to get our gold back, have physical control over the national assets. Okay. Robert Kiyosaki doubles down on $1 million Bitcoin, advises what truly matters about owning Bitcoin. Bitcoin is projected to hit $1 million per coin, as Robert Kiyosaki warns of looming economic collapse, positioning the crypto as the ultimate defense against financial disaster. With crisis looming, Robert Kiyosaki views Bitcoin holdings as defense against currency collapse. Robert Kiyosaki shared on social media platforms that on X, poor people focus on price, rich people focus on quantity. Let me think about that. That is true, but I used to have a saying too. You know, poor people focus on price, rich people focus on quality of life. So rich people focus on quantity, he elaborated. I do not care much about the shot price of gold or silver. I do care about how many ounces of gold and silver I control. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't care what the price is right now. It's about how much do you have. That's why, Marnita, I was telling you, always look at that compounding. Every day you have more tokens than you had before. Doesn't matter what the price currently is right now. We're looking at 6 months, a year from now. The same with Bitcoin. While I watch the price of Bitcoin, I focus on how many Bitcoin I own. I started buying Bitcoin at $6,000. I bought all I could. I wish I had more fake money to buy more Bitcoin, he continued. When did, okay, this is new with Bitcoin.com news. I got to create an account. All right, so this is new with them. Let me get this out the way because it keeps popping up. What? Wallet? Bitcoin.com wallet wants to access your Google account. See, create and delete. Yeah, okay. See through services. Yeah, I'm not connecting none of my wallets. Will allow you to access. Yes. And error. Oh, it's because I have my VPN on. All right, I'll do that later. So Bitcoin.com news is doing something different now. All right. You have no idea what you own. Bitcoiners slam sellers as Bitcoin wobbles amid Middle East. That's true. Don't sell your Bitcoin. Following the U.S. airstrikes against Iran on Saturday, the price of Bitcoin slid beneath the $100,000 zone for the first time in 46 days. Bitcoin's reaction has caused a wave of people to share their 2 cents on how Bitcoin will continue to perform during the conflict in the Middle East. Yeah, it's going to keep going up. Bitcoin's 100K armor cracks. Is a bull reversal or breakdown coming? No. This is anything new here? No, because it popped right back up. Nothing stops this orange. If you are selling Bitcoin because of the possibility of the world going to war, you have absolutely no idea what you own. I agree. The fear of war is loud, but facts are louder. Well, we live in a world where you don't care about the facts, only what you believe. In 2022, Bitcoin pumped 42% in 35 days after the Ukraine war began. What happens if history repeats with more fuel? Despite the jitters triggered by conflict headlines, Bitcoin's current behavior may be less a flight response and more a moment of strategic stillness. Seasoned Bitcoin holders appear largely unfazed, suggesting that recent fluctuations may reflect transient fear rather than foundational weakness. If the past holds any clues, this calm amid chaos could signal an upcoming recalibration, not a retreat. What's left unsaid by price alone is the deepening psychological split between conviction and confusion. On one side stand those interpreting Bitcoin's dip as a misread of its role during crisis. On the other hand, those quietly accumulating, with geopolitics in flux and narratives colliding, the next chapter for Bitcoin may be driven as much by belief as by market mechanics. Okay. All right, that is it for Crypto Talk for today. I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that's the point. 5-day challenge tonight. This is the time you want to be screaming to the world at no cost. You might want to be a part of our 5-day challenge and learn something new. We have MoveQuest presentation coming up in 6 minutes. So I'll see you guys there, and I'll see you guys tonight for the next 5-day challenge. Take care. Bye-bye.